From the New York Times, it's The Headlines. I'm Tracy Mumford. Today's Tuesday, December 30th. Here's what we're covering. The Times has learned new details about a U.S. attack in Venezuela from last week that President Trump has been talking up.
There was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs. So we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area.
People briefed on the strike tell the Times that the C.I.A. used a drone to hit a port facility where U.S. officials think the gang Tren de Aragua was storing narcotics and potentially preparing to move drugs onto boats. While the U.S. has been targeting vessels at sea for months, claiming they're smuggling drugs, the dock strike marks the first known American operation inside Venezuela. It suggests the Trump administration has launched an aggressive new phase of its pressure campaign against the country's president, Nicolas Maduro. The White House has alleged that there are close ties between Maduro and Tren de Aragua, even though the U.S.'s own intelligence agencies have cast doubt on those claims. For its part, Maduro's government has not directly commented on the dock strike. But yesterday, Venezuela's interior minister denounced months of, quote, imperial madness, harassment, threats, attacks, piracy, and murders. Meanwhile, the U.S. military carried out another deadly strike yesterday against alleged drug traffickers, hitting a boat in the eastern Pacific. Pentagon officials said Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth directed the attack, which killed 2 people. They said the boat was traveling along a, quote, known narco-trafficking route. It was the 30th attack of its kind announced by the military since early September. The strikes, which have killed at least 107 people, have been condemned by legal experts and members of Congress, who have called them extrajudicial killings. In Russia, officials are accusing Ukraine of targeting one of Vladimir Putin's homes, saying Ukraine launched a wave of attack drones on Monday near one of Putin's most secretive hideouts.
It's one thing to be offensive, because they're offensive. It's another thing to attack his house.
President Trump said he was very angry about the alleged attack, though Russia has provided no clear-cut evidence that it happened.
I mean, you're saying maybe the attack didn't take place. It's possible, too, I guess, but President Putin told me this morning it did.
Russia's accusation came just after Trump hosted Volodymyr Zelensky for talks about a possible deal to end the war in Ukraine. Zelensky called the claims of an attack a complete fabrication and said that Russia had invented it as a pretext to undermine the negotiations. Russian officials have now issued a dramatic threat to harden the country's stance in peace talks and said that their position on previously reached agreements about ending the war would be, quote, revised. In an incident 2 years ago, Ukraine denied sending a pair of drones that exploded over Putin's residence in the Kremlin, but U.S. officials determined the country was likely behind it. The Trump administration has announced that it will provide an initial $2 billion for United Nations aid programs in the coming year. That will likely keep the U.S. as the biggest international aid donor, even as President Trump has drastically scaled back funding. Over the last decade, the U.S. regularly used to cover a third or more of the UN's total humanitarian efforts. This year, that dropped to about 15%. Trump has frequently criticized foreign aid as wasteful and rife with fraud, and the new pledge came with a stark warning for the UN. The State Department told the organization it must cut out what the U.S. called bureaucratic overhead and ideological creep, and said individual UN agencies will need to adapt, shrink, or die. Across the globe, international relief agencies are facing a funding crisis, as many other Western governments make cuts too. One former UN humanitarian aid official told the Times, quote, never has the gap between recorded need and available funding been so severe.
Why do these kids have 3 full sets of uniforms, complete with camo, gradients, and metallic lettering like they're in the MLB All-Star Game?
For some families in the U.S., youth sports have become all-consuming.
Listen, a 6 a.m. youth sports tournament on a Saturday will have you starting to root against your kid's team.
There are demanding schedules, weekend-long tournaments, even cross-country flights, on top of huge financial investments.
The nearest I can figure, we're spending about $25,000 a year on a little over $2,000 a month on these sports.
And while sports have been shown to help kids build self-esteem and confidence, a growing body of research also shows that kids are burning out fast. Studies have shown that pressure from overbearing coaches and parents can stunt children's emotional well-being, and that overtraining young athletes is leading to injuries. Demanding coaches and parents screaming on the sidelines aren't new, obviously, but the pressure has only ramped up as a growing number of kids' sports leagues are now being run as for-profit businesses. In response to the new intensity, there's now a broad movement to increase training for coaches so they're more informed on mental health issues. In the last few years, one expert told The Times, 7 states have begun requiring coaches to receive mental health training. And some leagues are taking it into their own hands, bringing in consultants to talk to parents about their role in the potential burnout. One former MLB player who gives these talks told The Times, quote, "You have a lot of parents who are sports fans that want to watch youth sports the same way they watch pro sports." He said parents need to take a step back and help turn down the pressure. And finally, years ago, 2 mountain climbers, who are twin brothers, set out to climb the highest peak in every state. Once that was done, they started looking at the highest peak in every country. But they had questions about the data. The more mountains they climbed, the more they wondered if the peaks had been measured correctly. They now run a project called Country High Points, where they check for themselves. And in a recent paper, they established new high points in 5 countries. To make their measurements, they, along with a few other collaborators, climb with not just food, water, and first aid, but also advanced surveying equipment, basically more accurate versions of the GPS installed in smartphones. Where the Find My Phone dot can be accurate down to a few feet, this equipment measures down to the inch. It probably helps that the 2 brothers are mechanical engineers. Their project has now helped fill in or correct the topographical record in Gambia, Uzbekistan, Togo, Guinea-Bissau, and more. Of course, getting any maps officially updated is a whole other feat. There can be peer review processes, and different countries have different standards. But the brothers are publishing their info as they collect it. They told The Times, "Our goal in all this is to find the truth." Those are the headlines. I'm Tracy Mumford. We'll be back tomorrow.